I stand here today to speak on the demand for grants for the Union Ministry of Civil Aviation. Civil aviation in India has a very illustrious history. The first official airmail service in the world originated in India on February 18, 1911, when Henry Piquet, the French aviator, carried 6,500 pieces of mail across the Yamuna from Allahabad to Naini on a Humber Sommer biplane. The first commercial airline, a Tata Air Services flight, was piloted by J.R.D. Tata, a postmoth, in October 1932 from Karachi to Bombay at a dazzling 100 miles an hour. Fast forward to 1953, when the Air Corporations Act nationalized the industry and 8 domestic airlines were merged into 2, Indian Airlines and Air India International. In 2011, these were again combined into one, Air India, a single entity. But now, with the privatization of Air India last month, which was the last government airline in the 70th year of its nationalization, there is no point in discussing its privatization anymore. Who was for it? Who was against it? It is already a fait accompli, and we need to move on. We can only hope that this government has put in enough rules and reasonable processes for aircrafts to be made available from the private sector for emergencies as and when required by the government of India, as we've seen in the case of Ukraine and many others in the last few years. As I analyze the numbers, I find that from 2014 till today, Air India formed between 60 and 95% of the Ministry of Civil Aviation's budget. The sale of Air India, basically an airline that cost the exchequer about 120,000 crores over the past 10 years due to gross mismanagement, is being now lauded as a landmark success. But Air India seemed to be the only thing that this ministry was doing, or rather doing quite badly. It is incumbent upon me as a responsible public citizen and a public representative to point out to taxpayers of this country what is the truth behind these ministries' numbers. We need to really analyze them. This year, of course, completely skews the numbers, and it's difficult for a layperson to figure out what's going on. First, let's look at the Air India related expenses. Last year's revised estimate had 62,000 crores as debt repayment, and the budget estimate for 22-23 includes almost 9,300 crores towards the SPV Air India asset holding for debt servicing. Excuse me, sir. Once we exclude Air India, then the total allocation for the ministry is down 31% over last year's revised estimates. The total budget estimate for 22-23 for non-Air India expenditure is a grand total of only 1,242 crores. This is a reduction of 31% over the 1,770 crores revised for 21-22. Let us look at the breakup. First, establishment expenditure, 435 crores, increase of 12% over revised estimate. The regional connectivity scheme, this is the much touted Uran airports, Iran routes. Only 601 crores, a decrease of over 40% over revised estimate of 994 crores. 3. Airports Authority of India, 150 crores, decrease of 21% over revised estimate. Others, 57 crores, reduction of 78%. I would like to ask one question. With a paltry budget expenditure of 1,240 crores, why do we need a separate ministry for civil aviation? 1,200 crores is what Mr. Gadkari is spending to 4-lane a stretch of 67 kilometers in my district. The Manrega budget for my state is almost 3 times this amount. People should be aware that there is no country in the world apart from India and Bangladesh which has a separate and independent ministry for civil aviation. No one else. Everyone has evolved as they have sold and privatized their national carriers. I'm going to name a few examples. The US, Department of Transport. Canada, Transport Canada. UK, Department for Transport. Germany, Federal Ministry for Digital and Transport. Singapore, which still owns 55% in Singapore Airlines through Temasek, Ministry of Transport. Japan, Ministry of Land Infrastructure and Transport. The question I raise here, or rather the proposal I put forward, is that now that this ministry is no longer in the business of running a national airline, why does it even need to be a separate ministry? What is it actually doing? Why not merge the Ministry of Civil Aviation with the Road Transport or the Shipping Ministry and create a holistic ministry for transport? The Airports Authority of India, a mini Ratna, it's a CPSE, is now the mainstay of the entire civil aviation ministry, and barring the regional connectivity RCS subsidy of about 600 crores, which incidentally is a huge underperformer, there are no big sums to be managed here at all. Even the important air navigation services is solely mandated to AAI. BCAS, the regulator, does nothing except issue aviation security circulars and conduct routine audit checks. It has a revenue budget of only 67 crores for salaries and a capital budget of only 30 crores for making a new building and for some biometric project that they're doing. All actual airport and installation security is handled by CISF, which reports to Home Ministry, doesn't report to Ministry of Civil Aviation. Let us examine the Airports Authority of India. What exactly are they doing? In the year 1920, which was the last available public report that I could find, AI earned a profit about 2,000 crores, which was revenue share from 8 PPP airports and fees from domestic and overflight services. It gave 1,000 crores as dividend to the Consolidated Fund of India, but the government did not even find it worthwhile to allocate at least this amount to the regional connectivity, the UDAN scheme. Can you imagine the regional connectivity UDAN scheme that my esteemed colleague who's speaking before me from the BJP mentioned has been reduced by 40%?